Hey everybody, welcome to another vlog, another installment of this thing that I'm doing for Revelations, the Revelations project. So today I'm talking a little bit about collaborating and a little bit about the history of how that's kind of evolved over the years, because this project has been with me, like I've mentioned, for like 20 years. So having it from its inception and it being such a passion project, there's a lot of decisions of how much do I take on myself? How much do I seek help or have people come on board, kind of a thing. So that's kind of evolved through the process of this whole journey. So going from having to basically figure out how to do everything, do it on my own, that was like the beginning, to like where it has ended up with collaborating with others, to be able to, I guess, to learn to collaborate and to be okay with collaborating on like a project that's kind of been like my baby for so long. So in the beginning, there was even decisions about, do I go and approach a publisher? Do I self-publish? Like, how do I go about this kind of thing? Because I was new to the whole game. This was my first book, first time even in this industry, in this realm. As an illustrator, I illustrated, but I didn't know how to like necessarily even write and publish and put all these things together. So it's like researching all on my own, getting all these things together. How do you publish? How do you have your books in libraries? How do you have your books copywritten? How do you have all these different things that needed to be together, the ISBN, barcodes, all these things. So that was all on me, and the whole project kind of was on my shoulders from the very beginning. So I had to kind of learn for those opportunities of, well, when do I trust people? Because going self-publishing, I knew from the very beginning, from very early on, getting with a publisher wasn't something that I felt led to do with this project. I felt like I was leading it in a very specific direction with a very specific vision, and I didn't want a publisher or all these other outside factors or influence taking control or directing the story or the book in any different way. I started, I guess the first kind of collaborative effort with Revelation was actually in the first book, the graphic novel. In the very back, I featured a few of my friends who are also artists that I went to school with, and they did pinups of my Revelations characters. And very cool, unique styles, their take on something that I was doing. But it didn't really impact story or different things, it was just kind of an add-on. And there's also a poem that one of my friends had written at the time. After the book was out, I did a social media push, doing a lot of stuff on Facebook and all around. I think Facebook was the main thing back then. So what ended up happening, I started these challenges where I'm really connected within the artist community, having gone to art school and doing a lot of circuits with like art shows and various things in the LA area. So I had toured, I had been in like group shows and did a lot of different things. So I had a whole community of artists to kind of like bounce ideas off of, and that were really interested in what I was doing and what Revelations was. So I figured, let's start this kind of competition on the Revelations page on Facebook, and people would submit, and there was like I think it was every week, and there was a new artist that would do a pinup or their version of a character or some kind of interpretive thing, and then that led to them going face to face and like the fans voting for like their favorite one. And that was a lot of fun, and that lasted for a few months. And then flash forward many years, then I think more recently learning that this project was very huge and it was getting bigger than what I could accomplish on my own, really. I think God was showing me like, okay, so you have done a lot of work to build up this whole thing, to start it. You know, it's worth noting another thing that I did, I think this was back in 2012, a way that I was able to collaborate and work with a lot of the fans and readers of the book. It was called 90 Days of Summer. I went to numerous events and conventions and all these different kinds of events. I ended up giving away books and posters and merchandise and all these different Revelations paraphernalia to different and new readers and fans of the book and the story. And I did that. I think there was over 90 winners, and I gave these books away for free to people who showed up to these events, and I took pictures with everybody so to make sure that it was documented, and it was all across social media and a lot of the things on the group's Facebook page for the Red R, which that page is still up. If anybody is on Facebook and they wanted to add it, it's the Red R is the name of the group, and you could join it if you want to be a part of this and see some of the original posts that I'm referencing here. But 90 Days of Summer was a way for me to further engage and connect with and collaborate with new groups of people, new readers and fans of the book. And it was a lot of fun. It took a while, it took several months, but it was a great, memorable collaboration. But it wasn't something that I would be working on to be like a fully finished book and then be fully like an animated feature, which is down the line. Those kind of ideas and things are things that I could potentially accomplish on my own, but it would take many, many years. I'd be looking at like, this was my only project of my whole life and it's done, and it's like 40 years later kind of a thing. So learning when I was on the project, because I had to stop at many points and I was pulled onto other studios, other projects and things that were going on various years. So when I was back on the project, back on Revelations, God kind of showed me how to delegate through actually some of the other projects that I had worked on, helped me to understand how to work with other artists and how to give tasks and watch over and oversee different things. Now I'm able to kind of let go of certain things and trust other artists and writers and people and creatives, because thankfully God has brought me to the right people, and it's hard to trust like something so personal with other people. But when you have people that you know they're doing great things in their own industry, in their own skill set, and you're close with them, and God has kind of led you to a path where it's like they're like the perfect fit. I could never plan or search for somebody that would have their skill set and have their understanding of the genre and what I'm really seeking to accomplish with this story. So I think the first one was Herman, who I went to school with a long time ago, and he's a great videographer, and he's moved into kind of this 3D space of like character design, animation, and all these different things. We had a close relationship. He really appreciated what I was doing with Revelations, so he reached out to me about maybe building some of my characters in models, and he's worked on 2 of them. And so far there's been some amazing stuff that he's been cranking out, and I appreciate all of his time that he's put into it. He has a great background in doing a lot of different types of media and different types of art, so having him on this project was really exciting. And I'm really excited for the future of what he brings to the post-book side, which is a lot of the animation in the 3D world, because this is the first 3D stuff that has been developed for Revelations. And so I'm really excited to see what's coming in the future with collaborating with him. The next one was Nathan, someone I met through the Comic-Con circuit and doing a lot of conventions. I think he came to my booth one of the years. He had some great stuff that he was working on and things he was doing. He came to my table and we talked a lot about Revelations and things in the future. Fast forward a few years, I think he had the idea of creating a line of figures, of little sculpts of these characters for my book. And I have like 15 or so main characters at the time. And I was like, this is perfect, because I have always wanted to have figures, like sculpted, hand sculpted figures of my characters from Revelations, because their silhouettes are so distinct and they're so, in their design, they're meant to like see them as a whole set, as a whole family of characters. So having him on board and working in a whole different realm than I'm doing with my illustrations and the writing, he brought a whole nother side to what these figures could bring to doing conventions, to doing like marketing, to actually having like figures as like product to sell, and various applications that come from it. And he's done a great deal of artwork in his own right and throughout the years. Really talented guy. And another artist I just worked with, Diane, she's actually based in Canada, so the likelihood of us meeting just through the flow of our circles was very unlikely. Found her right when I was looking for and praying for an editor, and an editor that understood the genre I'm working in, that was a believer, that was talented, that was available. All these different things were hard to find, but I didn't really even have to look long. I was in one of my Christian community apps. It's for entrepreneurs who are Christians. I found a post from her and it was like, this is exactly what I needed in an editor, because my background wasn't writing, so I didn't understand all the technical specifications for what type of editing style you're gonna have, what punctuation belongs in every situation and circumstance. She helped really bring credibility to the format of the writing, and then it was very invaluable to have another set of eyes that could look at the pages of the book, read the story, understand how it should flow, understand the demographic I was reaching to, what other books are doing, how they're formatted, how the flow should be on a page, and the layout, and all these things that I didn't really know. And she helped clean up so much of the story, and just amazing having her on board for many books, because I've worked with her now on, I think it's 4 or 5 books at this point. So the Revelations one is just one of the most epic in terms of size and scope that we've been working on. So excited to see what comes from this collaboration. And I mean, she's done amazing stuff, her own books and working on other books for different people. She started an online magazine for writers, and just a lot of talented people on board with Revelations now. We're very excited for the future.
Yeah, one project that I forgot to mention was a trailer, an animated trailer for Revelations for Comic-Con back in 2012. I worked with a lot of talented artists on that. Daniel Quinones did another version of the logo, worked with a couple recording artists, Kate Earl and Jim Giddum that created some great tracks for the trailer. And my talented wife, Kaitia, she lended her voice for the voiceover and the narration in the beginning. So there's a lot of artists throughout this whole project, but these are just to name a few.
Very excited for the future because there's a lot of hands on the fire, a lot of plates spinning in the air right now. So we're excited about this whole journey that we're on, this movement with this book and this story and all the books and new content that's still to come. So I thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys check out these other artists and what they're creating on their own. It's been exciting to work with them and looking forward to many more books, releases, even next videos. Stay tuned for the next one, the next installment of these vlogs. I hope you guys enjoy it. Click.